I'm asked frequently by people who might be wanting a change in direction, what they've done, perhaps people who have worked in retail or just fashion students, and they ask me how you get started in manufacturing in the UK. And very, very sadly, I say, don't even think about it. It's just not possible to be a manufacturer, retailer really in this country and make a profit anymore. I was really lucky in that I got my factory started. I had a pretty vibrant vintage business. I could never get enough morning coats and waistcoats for the Ascot and wedding season. So I thought, all right, I'll make them. Well, I started using factories in Leeds to make for me. And these factories closed down one after another. And there's a thing I noticed about some of the factories in Leeds, one in particular. Now, when you have a factory, there's always material left over. And if you work at the factory, you're the manager or maybe you're a cutter or whatever, you have access to machines, girls that will knock a suit up for you for just a bottle of champagne or something. And the material is virtually free. So you can have whatever suit you want made at incredibly low cost because you have the facilities there. And I was also a little bit puzzled that I'd go to see these factories in Leeds and greeted by a manager or an owner wearing a very sort of bland suit, maybe from Marks and Spencer's or something. And I wanted to be greeted by a dandy who's superbly dressed to show what can be done with English tailoring. But these companies closed one after another. A very sad conversation. I was just about to order about 20 Norfolk jackets from a company. I won't say their name. And I phoned the chap up and he said, "I can't help you now. We're going out of business." And I said, "Oh, sorry?" He said, "Yeah, we've closed." And I said, "Do you have any sort of..." He said, "No, sorry, can't help you." And I put the phone down. And that was my last conversation with the factory in Leeds. Bear in mind, there used to be hundreds of thousands of people behind sewing machines working in London, in Leeds. The Burton factory alone employed 12,000 people. But at that time, when all the factories were closing down, if you wanted to start a small workshop then, you had the skills, because lots of people were being made redundant. And you could pick up sewing machines for nothing. You'd get an industrial machine for £50. When I got my little unit in Ipswich started, I started with just 3 people, a cutter and 2 machinists, and then I was able to pick the best machinists from Jaeger and from Ipswich by talking to them and say, "Here, who was your sample machinist? Right, let's get hold of him." But it's not possible to do that now because all those machines got either scrapped or exported to companies where they are doing some work, and everybody that was skilled in that area of business has now retired. And I contacted the sort of jobs place in Leeds, trying to find machinists, and the chap wrote me a letter back or an email back saying he understands why I would look at Leeds for employees, but he said he has nobody on his books in Leeds looking for that kind of work anymore. Everybody has either been made redundant too many times and don't want anything to do with that business anymore. They're now driving cabs or just staying at home, or they've retired. So sadly, it's just not possible now to make a profit because if I'm based in Sheffield, I might find one semi-retired cutter and one machinist. I might find one in Doncaster, one in Sheffield, but there isn't a location anywhere where I could have 6 or 7 people to form a nice little workshop, all working within easy travelling distance of wherever I decided to be. So it's just not possible now. And China, maybe 20 years ago, people would go to China and India and Indonesia and the Philippines to save money and have stuff made because it was getting increasingly difficult to find people to make things in the UK. And you'd go there to save money. Now, those people in China have been behind machines for 20 years. They are highly skilled, proud of what they do, and now you go to China to get the quality. Also, you get super materials in China. They've got great cotton, I thought I was going to have to send mohair out from UK because we've got fantastic mohair in UK, but they've got it in China and they've got cashmere, and yeah, so everything you need and the skills. And you'll find the most agreeable people in China, friendly, great super pride in what they do, and really don't believe anything you hear in our media about China and oppression, all that sort of stuff. Their cities look like the future, and I'm incredibly lucky because through a little music night that I used to run in Sheffield, I have friends in virtually every corner of China. I checked the other day because I thought I might like to have a motorcycle trip in Inner Mongolia. I've got 35 friends in Inner Mongolia, but I'm quite happy to give advice to anybody that's thinking of manufacturing in China or in Bandung in Indonesia, where I've had some things made. If people want to contact me, I'm quite happy to help them, or even negotiate for them with Chinese companies that I deal with in Shenzhen and Chengdu. So yeah, don't be afraid to give me a shout and tap me up for a bit of information.